hello everyone. Can you hear me? Hi. I can see a few of you already in the chat. Hello. Hello, Foodie, yeah. Hi, Sue. Nice to see you again as well. And hello, Beatrice. I hope everyone is well. Let me know if you can hear me in the comments and that it's all good. If you can hear any background noise in today's lesson, I can only apologize. Just before I've started the stream, my next door neighbor started drilling. So that's really excellent. And for those of you who don't know, drilling is like, oh God, how to describe drilling? It's that electric tool that you use in your house to drill holes into your wall. So he was drilling a hole just before I went live. There's a wall here, and he was drilling right into this wall, and I was like, no. But luckily he stopped, and I think he's gone to a different wall to drill. So that's very good news for me. But yeah, if you hear any background noise, I'm sorry, that's unfortunately, it's live TV, it's live YouTube, so there's not much I can do. But yes, I hope it's not annoying for anyone. And thank you for your patience. Foodie, yeah, says that they can hear me, or Beatrice says they can hear me. Thank you, guys. SHHW says hello. Hello, SHHW. G says hi, Flora and everyone. Hi, G. And I can see that Foodie, yeah, and Beatrice are having a nice chat in the comments, which is lovely. And Beatrice says that she's from Brazil. Well, welcome, Beatrice. I think most of our viewers at the moment are Korean, so it's really nice to have someone from another country as well. So welcome to the live stream. But yeah, how's everyone doing? How has your week been? Let me know in the comment box. It's been a very good week for me in the UK because it's been really sunny. It seems to have become spring, which is excellent. I love spring. It's one of my favourite seasons. And yeah, I've just been enjoying the sun. The way the sun kind of falls in my house is that it's only in the back garden for like an hour or two in the morning. And then it spends the rest of its time out in the front of my house. So what I've been doing is sitting in my front garden. I put out a blanket. It's basically on the street. And I've just been sitting and relaxing out there at lunchtimes when it's sunny, and that's been bringing my mood right up. So yeah, I've had a very lovely week. How's it been for everyone else? I hear that in Korea it was very, very cold. And also I want to say to all the Korean viewers, happy Independence Day from Monday. I hope you guys had a really good bank holiday and that you got up to something fun. Soo Jung says, in London, it's been cold this week. It's been cold? What? It was so sunny. I think maybe I'm more thinking about the last weekend where it was quite nice and sunny. And I think it's going to be really beautiful weather this weekend as well. So that's really good news. So hopefully it'll be warm in London as well. Yeah, I took advantage of the sunny weather last weekend. And I drove around with my housemate in her car because she has a convertible. So we put the roof down and we played music really loudly. And we, then just drove around in the sun all day, and it was really great. So that was making the most of the sunny weather, I think. Jiwoo says, hi, Flora. Hi, Jiwoo. Welcome back. And Foodie Yeah says, the UK weather is not very good. Guys, it was good. I promise you, it was nice this weekend. Good. Okay, yeah. And, another cool thing that I want to show you guys this week is I bought a cool magazine. So, it's this one. It's called Weird Walk. And it's about, like, British folklore and walking, basically. That's a rubbish description, but it is about connecting to the British landscape through walks and like kind of visiting maybe ancient sites and all this kind of stuff. And yeah, it's really beautiful. It's got really beautiful pictures of the English countryside. I'm trying to find a nice one. Oh yeah, this one's pretty. I like this one. And it has an article with one of my favourite DJs in it this week. So I was pretty excited about that. And that is about as exciting as life gets in lockdown, I think. Janet says, hi, Flora. And wow, nice. Thank you, Janet. Henna says, hello. And Yunhai Kim, I'm really sorry. I'm probably saying your name really horribly, but they say, hello, Flora. Hello, back. And also SHHW asks, what kind of music do you like? Wow, that's an interesting question. That's also a really hard question. What kind of music do I like? I like lots and lots of different types of music, and it really depends on my mood. So sometimes if I'm in quite like a happy, upbeat mood, I want to listen to lots of disco. I often want to listen to lots of disco. I also like soul music. What else? Hip hop, I'm a big fan of. Like more like 90s hip hop or 2000s hip hop. I really like a rapper called MF Doom. He's probably my favorite. And then also recently I've been really into like kind of modern folk music. I've been really enjoying. Or which there's a kind of like or choral stuff. There's a band called Womb who I've been listening to a lot this week actually. So they've just released an EP recently and it's really, really beautiful. So I recommend them. It's spelled WOOM, Womb, and they're really beautiful like choral music. So yeah, a big variety of music. Maybe one day I could do a live stream about British music. Let me know if that's something you would want to watch in the comments. And Unfem says hello. Hello, Unfem. I love your username. Are you French or do you speak French by chance? I love your username. That's really cool. That's so nice. Hello, Autumn. Thank you for introducing yourself. And Foodie says soul music, as in SEOUL. That's very funny. Not soul music, as in soul music as in funk and soul, but I'm sure you knew that. Okay, well, shall we get started with the topic of today's live stream? So today we're going to talk about 5 weird things that British people believe, and by weird things I mean 5 superstitions. So I did the poll last week, and thank you to everyone again who took part. I can see it was like 96 people took part in the poll, so thank you very much. I will be doing another poll today after the live stream for next week's topics. So yeah, keep an eye out on our community page and make sure you go and vote so that you can pick the topic for next week's live stream. But yeah, thanks to everyone who voted this week. And yeah, it was a very close vote, but just by 5%, British superstitions got it. So that is what we're going to be talking about today. Aidan says hi. Hi, Aidan. Welcome back to the live stream. Lovely to see you. And another user whose name, is called Nick. Sorry. Hello. Nick says, hello, Flora. I'm Nick. I'm glad to see you again. Hello, Nick. I got a bit confused there because I couldn't read your username as it's in Russian, I believe. Or correct me if I'm wrong. And WK Kim says hi. Hi, Kim. Okay, cool. And Beatrice says, yes, British music and festivals live stream would be so cool. That's definitely one that I also really want to do at some point. So I think I'm going to put that as an option again in this week's poll, even though I did it last week. Maybe I will just put it in until it gets the most votes. But yes, all right. Let's get started with today's topic. So again, I have another presentation to show you. So I'm going to take you through 5 British superstitions, and tell you about what they're about, what people do, what context they're used in, and then most interestingly, in my opinion, where they come from. So yeah, I have another presentation for you like I did last time. I'm loving creating the PowerPoint slides, apparently. So, okay. Yay, it's worked. Excellent. Okay, let me try and zoom in on this. So it's a bit better. Sometimes, okay, there we go. Now it's too much. There we go. Okay, fabulous. Technical difficulties, but here we are. So, the first British superstition that I'm going to talk about today is, as you can probably guess from the images, the unlucky number 13. Now, I'm sure that this is like a really common superstition across the world, and I'm sure you guys have heard about it before. Or I'm sure that it's also a superstition in your own home country as well. But yeah, the number 13, many people fear and avoid the number 13, and it's even got a phobia named after it, which is something I learned for researching for the live stream. It's called, let me read it out properly, triskaidekaphobia. Triskaidekaphobia. I'm not sure I'm saying that correctly. I'm going to write it down on my whiteboard as well for you all. Triska. Oh, Triska. Oh, I'm already spelling it wrong. Triskaidekaphobia. My word. Very complicated vocabulary. But yes, so many buildings across the world will skip the 13th floor, so they'll go straight from 12 to 14 because of this aversion to the unlucky number 13. In a way, I think it's very similar. I know that lots of Asian countries have the same thing with the number 4, because the characters look like the symbol of death, don't they? So I know that many hospitals in Korea and other Asian countries will go straight from 3 to 5, right? So yeah, the number 13 is kind of similar. But the story behind the number 13 and why it's so unlucky is because of, as you can see on the slide, Jesus. So it actually has a religious background, as do many superstitions. They come from religious reasoning. And it's because the Last Supper, there was 13 people at the Last Supper. Jesus had 12 disciples, and then the 13th person was Jesus himself. And this was seen as unlucky. So it was seen as unlucky to have 13 people at a dinner table, because after the Last Supper is when Jesus was betrayed by Judas, captured, and then crucified. So many people after that, many Christian people, thought that having 13 people at a table was bad luck. And then this has kind of expanded to just an aversion to the number 13 in general, and often even if you're not a religious person. So lots of people have this even if they're not Christian. And it's become very popular in, like, I think it's just in TV and film. Like Aidan Kang says 13th Friday. Yes, so Friday the 13th, which wasn't actually an unlucky number until the movie series. So there's a really popular movie called Friday the 13th, and it's like a horror, an American horror film. And that the day Friday the 13th wasn't an unlucky day until that film. So that was kind of made popular by the film as well. Good. Okay, Pravesh Sharma is asking, do you speak with received pronunciation? Yes, I do. And I can see you've put the comment multiple times, so please no spamming in the comment box. it means that I won't be able to see everyone's questions properly. But yes, I do speak with received pronunciation. Okay, so next weird belief is this. So, throwing salt over your shoulder. I don't know if this is one that many people would have heard of before. I think it's really common, but maybe it's because I'm British. But at the dinner table, if someone spills salt, you're meant to throw it over your left shoulder, I believe, or else it's bad luck. And I Googled it, and the idea is that you're picking up the salt and you're throwing it in the face of the devil who lurks behind you. So that's very, very creepy imagery there. But yeah, you're meant to pick up the salt, throw it in the face of the devil so that no more mischief can be caused. This is a very common superstition in Europe, and salt has different kind of symbolism in each European country. But in England, the idea is that every spilled grain of salt represents future tears. I'm not sure entirely where that comes from, but it's very ominous, isn't it? But I did some Googling, and a Wikipedia article, don't know how reliable Wikipedia always is, but a Wikipedia article claims that this European belief dates back to ancient Rome, and is because a famous humanist called Piero Valerino Bolanzi, I hope I'm saying his name right, he was a very famous, I guess, Roman scholar. And he said that salt is a symbol of friendship because of its lasting quality, and it preserves food for a long time. So it therefore means that it signifies abiding the strength of friendship. So it's ominous to spill it because it's meant to be very precious. And I think just maybe it even could come from back in the day, salt was a really important food preservative. So spilling it is wasteful and therefore bad luck. I'm guessing that is where it comes from. Aidan Kang says about the number 4 in Asian cultures, it's true that most hospitals in South Korea use F rather than 4 in a lift. Yes, I've actually heard that before. I wonder if people in the West ever use T instead of 13. I have to say it's not something I've noticed if it's missing in a lift or not, but when I start going to more buildings that aren't my house, so after COVID, I'm going to look out and see if the number 13 is included. Nick says, we have the same superstition about the number 13 and Friday the 13th in Russia, and also about the salt. Yes, I think, Nick, that lots of these superstitions today will be very common in Russia as they are in the UK, because I think that lots of European countries kind of share the same superstitions. And Aidan says, you throw salt only over the left, not the right. I think so. I'm actually not sure. I had to Google it, but whenever I Googled it, it seemed to say that you should only throw it over your left shoulder. So yes. And Foodie Yeah says, we throw salt, so I guess in Korea, you throw salt in other people's faces if you don't want them to come back again, or if you think they're bad luck. But it's very old, happened in the 19th century. That's really entertaining. I should think if you don't want someone to come back, throwing salt will work. Just get out. Maybe not something we should bring back, I don't think. Okay, next superstition is a classic. I'm sure you've all heard of this, but it is breaking mirror, or breaking a mirror is 7 years bad luck. I think breaking a mirror is considered bad luck in loads of different cultures, but the years of bad luck kind of varies depending from culture to culture. But in the UK, breaking a mirror is 7 years bad luck. And this is another superstition that dates back to ancient Rome, as you can see on the presentation. So Romans believed that mirrors were a portal to the soul. And this is another idea that's come up when I was doing when I was looking up superstitions, in loads of different cultures, mirrors are seen as portals. They think the same in Mexico as well. And so in ancient Rome, if you break a mirror, it means you are damaging your soul. And the soul couldn't be fixed until, or like the damage that you cause your soul by breaking the mirror can't be fixed until the soul renews itself, which was every 7 years. So that's kind of the story behind it. And in a way, it's kind of logical, if that makes sense. Like, whenever I'm looking up the reasons for any of these superstitions, they seem really like weird or like illogical and unreasonable. But when you think about them in the context of the time that they were made, it makes total sense. And often superstitions were kind of used in place of science. So where we think about science nowadays to explain stuff, in the past when they didn't have that access yet, superstitions kind of and these stories took the place. And in a way, I think they're kind of more fun than science. Good. Okay, so the next superstition, number 4, is one that I actually believe in. Well, I say believe in. This is a superstition that I do often, almost every day, probably, could be. And it is a superstition about magpies. So there's a rhyme in the UK, it might be in other countries as well, where the number of magpies you see represents different stuff. So I'm going to say the rhyme now for you all. 1 for sorrow, 2 for joy, 3 for a girl, 4 for a boy, 5 for silver, 6 for gold, 7 for a secret never to be told. I don't know why this rhyme has been so important to me, but I think I heard it as a child and really ran with it, really took it on board, because now whenever I see one magpie, I have to salute it in order to get rid of the bad luck. So you have to say hello to the magpie in order to get rid of the bad luck of seeing one magpie. And even just looking at this picture on the screen of a magpie makes me a little bit nervous. I'm like, oh God, I don't want any bad luck. So yeah, this is a superstition that I take very seriously for some reason. And even when I see 2 magpies, which is 2 for joy, I get a little bit happy and I'm like, oh, that's nice. That's good. It means something good's going to happen. So yeah. So magpies are carrion birds, which means that they are part of the group of birds that eat, I think they eat dead things, kind of like vultures, or I think, yeah, these carrion birds are like crows, magpies, maybe vultures, but I could be wrong. But all these types of birds have been associated with death in literature, and yeah, just they've often been considered a symbol of death, and you often see them hanging around graveyards as well. So seeing a lone magpie is said to bring you sorrow, and I guess they just have like this mystical, magical element around them from folklore, from old stories, from myths and legends that have just been passed down. So I guess that's why there's this superstition surrounding them. And perhaps this is also common across other European countries as well. Beatrice says, oh, very interesting. I'm glad this is interesting. And Aidan says, breaking mirrors is often used as an ominous sign in TV shows. Ah, I didn't know that. That's so good. That makes sense. Maybe magpies as well could be used as an ominous sign in TV shows. A single magpie could just fly across the screen and you know something bad's about to happen. Good. All right. I think let's go on to the final superstition in today's live stream. And I couldn't get a very good picture for this. This is all I could find. But the last one is walking under a ladder. I don't know if this is common in other countries as well, but in the UK, I think this is a really common one for people to still do now. When you see like a ladder in the street, like leaning against a building or something, people will avoid walking under it. So you'll walk like around the ladder. I think most people do this. I do this as well. I think it's like a habit that lots of people do nowadays, but originally it comes from a medieval superstition, because in medieval times people thought that the ladder looked like the gallows, and now the gallows is where people were hung publicly for crimes. As you can see, there's a little picture of a hangman there. So people were afraid of this, and they thought that if you walked under the ladder, you too would also be hung and die at the gallows. So yeah, very dark superstition for you there. So yeah, that is the final superstition in the series. So now I am going to teach you some vocabulary to do with superstitions. And SHHW says, and also breaking mirrors means the end of a marriage. Oh, I didn't know that. Mirrors are so symbolic, aren't they? In lots of different cultures. I wonder why. Beatrice says, I never walk under a ladder. Yes, I think it's so common now. It's just become such like a common habit for all of us to avoid ladders. And Jangwon says, it's creepy. Yes, I ended on quite a creepy note there. Sorry, guys. Good. Okay, so now it's time to learn just a few bits of vocab. So I've got 3 words and phrases about superstitions for you today. And the first one is this word. So I want you guys to guess what it means before I tell you, and also try use it in an example sentence in the comments, and I will read it out loud. So the first one is a jinx. A jinx. So this is a noun. What do you guys think a jinx is? My example sentence would be, what would my example sentence be? Don't jinx it. Or, well, that's using it as a verb actually, so that was confusing of me. So it's a noun and a verb. So you could say, don't jinx it, or that guy's a jinx. So what could I mean? SHHW says taboos. Not quite, but that's a good guess. Beatrice says to say something you don't want to happen. Ooh, that is close, but not quite right, Beatrice. But that's very, very, very close. And Sharing is Caring says, hi, Flora, long time no see. Hi, Sharing is Caring. Welcome back to the live stream. Today we're talking about superstitions, and you've just tuned into the vocab section. Aiden says, a curse of attracting bad luck. Good, yeah, well done. Aiden got it, good job. So, yeah, a jinx is someone or something that causes bad luck. So that's the noun, but when we use it as a verb, we mean like to do something that causes bad luck, or to say, usually to say something that we want to happen, and then if we say it, that means it won't happen, if that makes sense. I hope that was easy to follow. But yeah, so I'll give you an example. So you could say, okay, this is a bit of a light-hearted example, but I really hope it doesn't rain this weekend. And then another person might say, don't jinx it, which means if you say what you want, you are jinxing it, and therefore the opposite might happen, which is a very negative way to look at life if you think about it. But yeah, that is a jinx. So the next piece of vocab is kind of related to a jinx. So that's a little bit of a clue. So this is an expression, and it's an action that lots of people do in the West connected to luck. So it is to knock on wood. To knock on wood. You can also say to touch wood as well. So to knock on wood or to touch wood. So when do people touch wood or knock on wood? What situation do people do that in? Sharing is caring says, you touch wood to not get a drinks, right? Very good, maybe. I'm going to let a few more people guess before I reveal. G says, hi, good to see you again. Hello, G, welcome back. Good to see you too. Sue says, to wish good luck. SHHW says dead, which is not quite right, but good guess. So sharing is caring and Sue have both got it right. So to knock on wood or to touch wood, we use to get rid of a jinx. So that's how it was connected to the last vocabulary. So it's basically to stop a confident statement or a jinx from being bad luck. So like the example I used before, I might say, touch wood, it doesn't rain this weekend. So that way I'm not jinxing it because I'm saying like, hopefully, knock on wood, it doesn't rain. And I almost put this as one of my superstitions in the presentation because it has a very interesting backstory, which I'll quickly tell you now. And basically it comes from way back in the past where ancient societies who were animists, which is religions where they believe that gods and spirits are all in nature. So they thought that there were spirits in the trees, and that in order to talk to their spirits or to worship or pray to the spirits, they would knock on the trees to talk to them. So that's where it comes from. So it's a very ancient belief and is very widespread across the whole world. So yeah, I thought that's quite interesting. Okay, and the final phrase is just about luck in general, and it is an idiom. So what do we think this common idiom means? To push one's luck. For example, you might say, I don't want to push my luck, but could you get me a coffee? Perhaps. I think that might be a bad example. Or maybe someone might ask you, someone might ask you to do a report for them and you go, ugh, don't push your luck. So what do you think that means? Aidan Kang says, hope for your good luck to keep going on. Not quite. Nick says, to wish that something has happened. Sharing is caring says, trying hard or a long shot. Oh no, I don't know if you guys can hear that, but my neighbour really just started drilling. Oh God. It had been going so well without him drilling. Can everyone let me know in the comments if you can hear that and if it's really loud or not? And if you can still hear me over it. Okay, Sue says ha ha ha, so I guess you guys can hear it. No, this is so annoying. Oh good, it stopped. I think it stopped. Okay, can anyone hear that? Let me know in the comments. If it gets really bad, I might have to, I don't know, go around and tell him off. SHHW says, we can hear you. Okay, that's good. Okay, well, as long as you guys can hear me, that's the most important thing. I can only apologize, but this is live streaming for you, I suppose. Okay, so to the meaning of to push one's luck is just as sharing is caring said, it is a long shot. So yeah, it means to to push your luck is to try and do something that's hard to achieve. And also in most contexts, it means you're being a little bit cheeky. So if you're pushing your luck with someone, it means you're trying to get them to do something and it's a bit of a long shot and you're being a bit cheeky by asking. I hope that's clear. Okay, Pip says, what is the sound? So yes, for those of you who tuned into live stream a bit late, this noise right next to my head is my neighbour drilling the wall. And I think he may have stopped, which is good. Hopefully he can hear me and he knows that I'm doing a live stream now. Okay, fingers crossed that stopped because it is time for the live stream. Or another thing we can say is, touch wood, the drilling has stopped. Okay, all right, now it's time for the mini quiz. So today's mini quiz is a little bit different. What I want you to do is I'm going to show you different superstitions from different countries, and I want you to guess where the superstition comes from. So going to make sure you can see the presentation. Yeah, there we go. Okay, are you guys ready to start the mini quiz? I hope so. So let's begin with superstition number 1. So, oh, that's number 2. The first superstition is never say happy birthday too early. Celebrating or even congratulating someone on a birthday before the day arrives is bad luck. So where does this superstition come from? Latvia, Russia, or France? So which country does the superstition come from? Latvia, Russia, or France? Let me know in the comments. So sharing is caring says easy, and they think it's Russia. Beatrice thinks it's Latvia. Nick thinks it's France. Aidan and Pray White both think it's Latvia. Any more guesses? Pip says Russia. Wow, it's really split, this one. I said last week that I was going to make the quiz a bit more difficult this week, so I hope that this is more difficult. Sue says Russia and Sweetie says France. So I'm going to reveal the answer. And the answer is Russia. So I found on the internet that this superstition is from Russia. Nick, can you let me know? Maybe it's actually not correct because Nick guessed France. So maybe what I found on the internet wasn't quite right. But yes, apparently this superstition is from Russia. Okay, let's move on to number 2. So the next superstition is don't place 2 mirrors opposite each other. Facing mirrors will open a doorway for the devil. So where is this superstition from? Don't place 2 mirrors opposite each other or it opens a doorway for the devil. Is this from Spain, Italy, or Mexico? So is it Spain, Italy, or Mexico? Sharing is caring says perhaps Nick is Korean. Very funny, perhaps. Beatrice guesses Spain. SHHW guesses Spain. Prey White says Italy. Pip says Mexico. Aiden Kang says Mexico. Sue says Mexico. Sweetie thinks it's Italy. Any more guesses before I reveal the answer to this question? And hopefully, I'm really hoping now that my neighbour has stopped drilling. So, and Nick, actually, can you tell me, was the birthday superstition correct? Because I found it on an article, but now I'm worried that it's not actually a real Russian superstition. So let me know if you've heard it and whether you think that the article I found was telling fibs or was incorrect. Sue Jong says, I have no idea. Aiden says, such a tricky questions. Good. I'm glad this is more challenging this week. So the answer to number 2 is Mexico. And I actually gave you guys a little clue earlier on in the live stream because I talked about, when I was talking about breaking mirrors, I said that mirrors were considered portals in Mexico. So you should have got that one because I hinted earlier. But yes, well done to those who said Mexico. You were correct. Well done. All right. Number 3. Don't cheers with water. If you cheers with water, you're actually wishing death upon the people you are drinking with. Very cheerful. So who or where does this superstition come from? The UK, Germany, or France? So don't cheers with water because you will wish death. Where does it come from? UK, Germany, or France? Sharing is caring says easy again, the UK. Nice. Maybe. Gonna wait for a few more answers. Pip says Germany. Sue says, ooh, I think Germany. Any other guesses? Aiden Kang thinks it's Germany too. Sharing is caring says they think it's the UK only because it uses the word cheers. So that's a good point, sharing is caring. So to cheers someone, the action, the verb, is just to kind of clink your glasses together, which and go like woohoo or cheers. And we do say cheers in the UK, but there's lots of other different words that people use in different countries. Like in Spain, I think they say salud. In other countries, they say lots of, what did they say in Vietnam? When I lived in Vietnam, there was something, but I can't quite remember it. I think they used to say mot cham mot, which I'm probably saying wrong, but it means like 100%, and they would say that and then down their drink. But in the UK, we say cheers, which is why I used it in this example. And we also say cheers to say thank you. But where this superstition comes from is actually Germany. So well done to everyone that said Germany. Well done, Pip, Aiden, Beatrice, Sweetie, lots of other people too. But yeah, I only said cheers because I'm writing in English. So I threw you off there. Sharing is caring. I'm so sorry. All right. Are we ready? How many more have we got? I think we got 2 more. So number 4. Don't sleeping. What? That shouldn't be like that. That's my bad. Sorry, everyone. Don't sleep with your head to the north. Sleeping with your head in this direction is bad luck because that is how the deceased are laid to rest. So where does this superstition come from? China, India, or Japan? So don't sleep with your head to the north. Sleeping with your head in this direction is bad luck because that's how the deceased are laid to rest. Is it China, India, or Japan? Nick has replied about the Russian superstition, and he has said, I would rather say it's just a common order. Nobody hurts you if you congratulate somebody earlier. So I guess it's not taken very seriously. not a superstition that people act upon. Fair enough. Thank you for letting us know, Nick. That was very helpful to have your knowledge. Okay, so Sweetie says Japan. SHHW says China. Lani thinks it's China. Aiden thinks it's India. Pip says China. Sharing is Caring says Korea, which isn't an option, but thank you for, I'm glad you added it. Sue says India. Tori says China. Beatrice thinks it's China. Sharing is Caring changed it to China. Nick thinks it's also China. Come on, guys. So only one person got that correct, and that was Sweetie. So Sweetie said Japan, and the answer is, in fact, Japan. So yeah, this superstition comes from Japan, not China. Although, are both societies Confucian? I don't think they are. But yeah, anyway, this superstition is Japanese. So well done, Sweetie. You got that right. Congratulations. Okay. The final superstition is pregnant women should not. What? Who? I did this presentation very late at night, and you can tell by the fact that there was a random however in there. Really sorry about that, guys. So pregnant women should not eat asymmetrical foods. Nibbling unshapely food while pregnant means you'll end up with an ugly baby. So where does this superstition come from? Korea, China, or Vietnam? So pregnant women should not eat asymmetrical foods. Nibbling unshapely food while pregnant means you will end up with an ugly baby. Korea, China, Vietnam. Aiden thinks it's Vietnam. Sharing is Caring thinks it's Vietnam. Sweetie says Korea. Beatrice thinks it's Vietnam. SHHW says Korea. Any more guesses for our final superstition? Okay, the answer is, Pip says Vietnam, Tori says China. The answer is Korea. Yeah, so the answer is Korea. I guess you guys can let me know, is this a very common superstition? Or maybe I've just found an article of very rare superstitions, as I thought you guys would have guessed it. So let me know in the comments. So Sweetie was right. Well done, Sweetie. Very good. Aiden says, no, we don't. So is this just not true? Or maybe is it just a very rare or unheard of superstition? Can anyone tell me more in the comments about this? I was considering doing another superstition, but I didn't want it to be too easy. I was considering the number 4, or saying about writing your name in red ink, because I know that's a very common Korean superstition. SHHW says that it's common, so that's good. I'm glad. But Sharing is Caring says it's rare. Well, who knows? What a mystery. Maybe it's just some areas in Korea. Who knows? But maybe that can be your homework for this live stream, for only for the Korean listeners. So sorry to Nick and Beatrice and anyone else who's not from Korea. But maybe you can go find out whether that's a common belief or not. But yeah, that is the end of the mini quiz. So well done, you guys. Very good. Thank you for everyone who took part. And congratulations, most of you got a lot of them correct. So good job, well done. All right, well, that is everything for today's live stream. I had a really good time. Thank you guys so much for coming and talking with me about superstitions, and I hope that you had a good time too. So as I said, I'm going to make another poll for next week's topics at the end of today, and I'll put that up on the community section of our YouTube channel. So keep your eye out for the community section and make sure you go and vote and have your say in what you want to talk about next week. All right, so Sharing is Caring says it was really fun. Thank you. I will be on time next week. No worries, Sharing is Caring. Thank you for joining us anyway. Glad you enjoyed it. Sue says thank you, Flora. Aiden says yes, it was really interesting. Good, I'm glad. Sweetie says I'll keep my eye out. And Beatrice says great live stream, have a lovely weekend. And SHHW says it was very helpful to know Western culture. Good, I'm glad. Well, yeah, thank you guys so much for joining me. I hope you all have a lovely weekend as well. And I look forward to talking to you next week. Aiden says, please next time can you talk about a philosophical topic? Aiden, I would absolutely love to, but the live stream is a democracy. So I will put the philosophical topic as an option, but I will only talk about it if it gets enough votes. So if you want to talk about the philosophy topic, you're going to have to go out and vote it. So fingers crossed it comes up. All right. Oh, and Nick says, just before I go, Nick says, yes, you asked about congratulations before your birthday, and she said it was a pagan Slavic superstition, but it isn't common among young people. Oh, that's so interesting, Nick. Oh, I'm definitely going to go away and Google that. So it's a pagan Slavic superstition, and it's not very common anymore. That totally makes sense. I'm definitely going to go away and Google about that superstition. Thank you, Nick. Good. All right. Well, have a lovely weekend, guys. Have a lovely evening and days, and I look forward to seeing you next week. All right. Bye.